Okay, well, I have just done my last pickup today on a Saturday. We've still got some stuff out at 3 locations that we will have to pick up tomorrow. Wow, that sun is really bright. So, a couple of videos ago, I talked about the styles of chair that I have, and also how I'd kind of gone through them in my business and what I'd learned from chairs and that kind of thing. And I said that my next video I would do tables. Well, I forgot, and I didn't. I've made videos about other things, and that's fine. But it occurred to me today that I had said that I was going to do that, and I hadn't, and so now I am. So when I first started out, I had 2 tables, and I bought them from Costco, and they are lifetime tables, 6 foot long, but they're the kind that fold in half, so they're actually 3 feet long when you're carrying them around. And I did 0 research on those tables, okay? I just bought them, actually not Costco, Sam's. I just bought them because they were available. And I knew that if I was doing backyard birthday parties with our arcade bus that we no longer have and a cotton candy machine, that having a couple of tables and chairs would be just an add-on, another way to make money. So I bought those 2. And then because I didn't have any money, as I began booking lots of tables and chairs for people renting them, because they advertised them on Facebook. Sorry, I keep adjusting the camera. I just can't get it quite right. I think that's a little bit better. Anyway, I was advertising them on Facebook, and I began to book more tables and chairs. Then I did parties with the arcade bus, and I began to deliver the tables and the chairs and the cotton candy machine separately from the arcade bus, which was fine because I was making a little bit of money. Again, I didn't have a whole lot of stuff and I wasn't making a lot, but I was making some money, so whatever. But I still didn't have a whole lot of money, and I didn't really have enough to just go out and buy a whole lot of equipment. So I did a lot of different things to increase my stock of tables. I picked up a few of them on Facebook Marketplace, and they were a couple of different brands. One of them, I have no idea what brand it was. It didn't have any markings on it. One of them was Costco. And I would book them out and that kind of thing, and it was all right. And after I got to where I had about 10 tables, then I started kind of to try to group them. So if somebody wanted to book 3 tables, I made sure that I gave them 3 Costco or 3 Lifetime or whatever, as much as I could, unless all of them were booked out, in which case people sometimes got tables and chairs that didn't match. and that bugged me. But I still had a limited budget, and so I kind of bought whatever was cheapest when I needed to buy new tables, but I didn't. I stopped buying them off of Craigslist and Facebook, and I bought some of them at Walmart because they were a little bit cheaper, and they were the Costco brand, not Costco with a T in the middle of it, but just Costco, C-O-S-C-O. And they're okay tables, and I've still got them, but they're not as good a quality as the Lifetime ones that I was getting at Sam's Club. I also found another place that had them the absolute cheapest that I have ever found tables that I could buy new, and that was a sporting goods store here in town called Academy. And I think they're probably made in the same factory as the Costco tables because they're absolutely identical, other than the little oval at the end of the table that had Costco molded into them when I bought them at Walmart had Academy molded into them instead. So I had more tables, and again, that worked really well. And when I had really big events, I booked a gun show at the fairground where they wanted to rent every table that I had my hands on, and they in fact it rented all the tables from 2 other companies in town as well. And everything that I had in total, I had 36 tables, and it included the random ones that I had picked up on Facebook, and the ones that I had bought at Sam's, and the ones that I had bought at Walmart, and the ones that I bought at Costco. And they didn't care what they looked like. They just wanted tables because they had 100 exhibitors at this gun show, and they needed the tables for their exhibitors. They didn't care who did them or whatever. And that kind of thing got me through the first 2 years. But after a while, I decided again that it bugged me that they didn't match, and I really wanted, I had I think 7 of the Costco ones, so I could do a decent sized event with those and just give them the Costco ones. Or by that time I think I'd built up to like 25 or so of the ones from the Lifetime ones from Sam's Club. And then I had a few other random ones, and so I try to group them to where you were only getting one brand if possible, but if they were all going out that weekend, then somebody was getting the random ones. I've still got the random ones. I've still got the Costco from Walmart. I've still got the ones from Academy Sporting Goods. But at a certain point, I decided, even though they were a little more expensive, I liked the quality better, and I liked all my tables being the same, so I was only buying from Sam's Club and only getting the Lifetime 6-foot tables that fold in half. Now, when I got to a certain point and I was doing a certain amount of business, I began watching videos of Lee, the rental guy, and Adam, the tent guy, and a couple other people on here. Les, whose channel has changed a little bit over a couple of times. He used to go by the name Worth Valian, which he says is from before his channel was about rentals. I don't have no idea what it is. For a while it was the Rental Brothers. I guess he had a partner, but that guy kind of went away. And anyway, several guys on YouTube, and they all had varying opinions on tables, and I started watching them, and I got different opinions on what you should do when it comes to tables. And these opinions kind of applied both to the round ones and the rectangular ones, which at this point all I had was rectangular ones. And there was two schools of thought on rectangular tables. First of all, that it was better to buy wood than plastic tables. And that's because the wood ones will last longer, and they will. But even in there, you had some variation. You can buy wood ones that have metal edges on them, and you can buy wood ones that have rubber edges on them. I don't have any wood ones. I never bought any of them. I would love to. I'm planning on it at some point as my company grows, because they will last longer, and therefore you will save money. However, I didn't have the money to buy those, and I was buying them one or two at a time when I got a little extra money from Sam's Club, and just slowly growing my inventory. And I chose to stick with those because A, I could afford them, B, there was a source in town where I could get them almost guaranteed. There was once or twice when I wanted some and they didn't have them, and I ended up going back to Walmart or Academy. But by and large, Sam's Club always had them. So I bought them from there because they were available, because they were cheap, because I could get them in a pinch. If I had 25 tables and I had 20 of them booked out and somebody called up and said, I want 7 tables, I would say, absolutely, I can do that for you. And I had 5 and I'd go buy 2 more. So it worked pretty well, and I grew my table inventory pretty quickly. And if somebody wanted to pick some tables up rather than having them delivered, then because these fold in half, they'll fit in a car. I also made some deliveries in my wife's pickup, or my wife's expedition, just threw the tables in the back a couple of times when my pickup wasn't available for some reason. I had to have the water pump replaced, or things like that. And so I just stuck with those. And I'm a firm believer that the guys that have been in this business longer than me and have more money are right, that the wooden tables are what you need. But I can't afford them yet, because they're almost twice as much, plus shipping on top of that. So I pretty much stuck with the plastic ones. And then after a while, I added round tables. I started out with some 4-foot round tables. Again, because they were cheaper. I did have to order them online, but I got a deal on them and they were free shipping. And they didn't go out a whole lot, but they went out some. And I realized, though, that most people wanted the 5-foot round tables because they seat 8 people, and the 4-foot round tables only seat 6 people, like the 6-foot rectangular tables seat 6 people. So anyway, I decided I was going to have to get into the 5-foot round tables because people wanted them for weddings and baby showers and this kind of thing. The nicer events, for some reason, people just liked the shape. They liked the round tables. So I got into them, and I had provided chairs for an event for a local car club, and so I'd kind of built a relationship with them. And the guy that was the president of the car club called me and he said, look, I've got these 6 5-foot round tables, and I've got this ring toss game, and we had a place to store them, but the car club member that had the place to store them sold their business and doesn't have a place to store them anymore. If we gave you the ring toss game and the tables, and you can use them and you can rent them out, but the one time a year where we have our biggest show and we need them, we get to use those for free in return, but they'll be your tables. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So in addition to the round ones that I had started buying, I now had these 6 that didn't match, but they were 5-foot round tables, and when you throw a tablecloth on them, they all look the same anyway. And I could all just do kind of the way I did with the rectangular tables, you know, try to group them and only send the 6 out to one customer and the others to another one. Anyway, so I kind of worked my way up again, just adding to my inventory as I could. And again, you know, with the ones that I was getting from Sam's, if somebody wanted 1 or 2 more than I had, I just went and bought another. So I built up to where I've got 19 of the round ones from Sam's that are lifetime and they all match, and I've got 6 of the others, so total I've got 25 of the 5-foot round tables, and now I'm up to about 7 of the 4-foot round tables, and they're doing better. The more I have of everything goes out more. But the point is, I guess, that I just built my inventory of tables slowly, and eventually I'll get wooden round tables and I'll get wooden rectangular tables, but I can't afford them yet, and you do what you can. And my customers are really happy with the tables that I'm running, as long as I do a really good job of cleaning them. That's mostly what they are concerned about. And you know, I state on my website that these are rental tables. They're going to have scratches, nicks, dents, dings, and that we recommend always using tablecloths. And most of my customers do, and the ones that don't, they know. It's not a big deal. My tables aren't in bad shape, but they're not perfect. They're rental tables. So I'm doing really well renting a lot of tables and chairs. And that's helped me pay for all the other equipment that I bought. But the one table that I get calls for, because the customers really don't care if they're wood or plastic, they just don't. The call that I get, though, is people want 8-foot rectangles, and I don't have those. And I think probably I'm going to have to start buying those, and maybe not a lot, but get to where I have 8 or 10 of them. Because there are calls for them and people do want them, and so I'm going to get some, and I am going to get them probably from Costco because they're cheap and they're plastic and I can afford them, but they're not going to be the ones that fold in half. So if somebody doesn't have a truck and wants to come pick up tables, then they're going to have to settle for the 6-foot ones, because you're not going to pick up 8-foot tables in a Nissan Rogue. Which, by the way, I had somebody try to pick up one of my 5-foot round table, or some of my 5-foot round tables the other day in a Nissan Rogue, and obviously they would not fit because they don't fold in half. But my 4-foot round tables do fold in half, so they ended up taking, instead of 4 of the 5-foot rounds, they took 5 of the 4-foot rounds. So I was still able to meet the customer's needs because I had the smaller tables that folded in half. So in both the rectangle and the round tables, I have smaller options that fold in half, and I'm going to have bigger options that don't fold in half. And I'm going to be able to meet the needs of more of my customers. I hope that this video has some value, that you can see how I gradually grew, how I progressed, what my thought process was, what's working for me, what wasn't really working for me, and where I'm going in the future, and that it's okay to not, you don't want to start out with the absolute cheapest garbage equipment in your business where you where it's constantly breaking and has to be replaced and it's wobbly and the customers don't like it. But you don't have to start with the top of the line. Start with what you can, build from there, buy what you can, do what you can, but start your business. Do something. Take charge of your life. Grow. So I'm going to continue to grow my business, and I'm going to continue to make these videos, and I hope they help somebody else out with their business, whether it's a party rental business or not, because there are some of these business principles that apply to any business. And I'll keep making videos in my truck because I don't have either the time or the editing skills to do them other places, and I don't film a lot of my events because I'm the guy, I'm almost always the guy that's loading and unloading. I very rarely have help. I'm the guy that's doing the setup, and so until I get a bigger staff, it's just going to be me and my truck. So the videos are not as visually appealing as some of the other guys that make videos about party rental companies, but I think the information is just as good, particularly, for a guy that's starting out. So I'll see you next time, and remember, it's always a good time to have a party.